Hi guys, welcome to another advent calendar door being opened. Today I'm working with something very special here, which is watercolors on wood. So you just saw me watering down the upper third, and I'm going in with turquoise, blue, and a lot of water right away. What I did recently a lot was watercolor paintings in any fashion, but always on watercolor paper. And for some reason, I find it very interesting and very rewarding to try out something new. So I had this wooden board laying around, so I just went for some watercolors and tried if I could make a painting with those two media. So since this is Christmas time, I'm of course going for a wintry scene, and after I finish the heavens, I'm starting with some light ochre and a lot of water again for the earth, for the surface. So what I do with winter paintings, which is maybe kind of weird, but helps me visualizing a painting, especially when I go not with a visual in mind when I start painting, but enjoy the flow and see what painting just comes out of me moving my brush around. I know it sounds weird, but that's sometimes how I paint. Is that I underlay anything with the real earth, the real matter. So especially with snow, I do paint the earth underneath just to keep track of the stuff that makes me pay attention to physical laws. So like light and shadow, and where do I go for what, like with the brush strokes. For example, now that I've added some white, you can see that I painted in a different way, not in straight lines, but more like dabbing the color on, and that would be because clouds are fluffy. They are seldomly straight, only when you have very strong winds. And in my case here on this painting, I didn't go for strong winds. I went for a very peaceful, very quiet winter scene. So at this stage, this could be a winter scene either on the ocean, like for example, this could be sand, and the blue straight lines that I just painted are the ocean, in fact, and I'm now with the white going in for clouds, but it could also be mountains and a lake. So I haven't decided yet what scene I'm actually gonna paint, which I find super exciting on the one hand, but kind of scary on the other, because it really challenges you as an artist that you have to, well, not paint in a controlled and pre-planned fashion, but really let the movement of your brush and the color take you where it takes you. So now I'm just jiggling down some white lines here, and those will be trees later on, pine trees or saplings in the end, but as for now, they just look like weird lines, and I'm lightening up the maybe horizon. I don't even know yet where my horizon is. I just know that I want snow there, but in what fashion, and if it's like wet snow or freshly fallen fluffy snow, I don't even know that yet. And it depends on how much blue or yellow I would incorporate into my painting that would suggest one or the other. So going down with the black color on the lower right hand side, I'm definitely being very bold here, but again, with a lot of water, it is fairly easy to soften the black and the harsh lines that you could produce with it. And since I'm working fairly quickly here, this video is sped up by 50%, so it took me like 20 something minutes to produce this special piece, start to finish. You know how fast I'm working here, and in that time that color would never dry with the amount of water that I use for this watercolor. So I'm going harsh on the black here, darkening everything down to different shades of gray. And no, I'm not referring to the book here. I just made myself laugh. Great, awesome. Wow. So I'm just going for warmer grays or cooler grays, depending on if I add some light ochre or maybe just the turquoise blue again. And those colors that I'm using are student colors. They're not high quality, but they have enough vibrance for painting on wood. And also I want to have like a whimsical, dreamy kind of a winter scene here, so I don't mind that I have this thing that happens with watercolors all the time, which is they fade out and lose some of their vibrance once they are dried. So I'm going back and forth, mixing colors together, the turquoise, the blue-ish color with white or with gray, which is black and white, all in one pot. And once in a while, but very seldomly at this stage, I'm adding some light ochre. And this is all that I use for this painting so far. There's nothing more. And now that I'm filling the, well, it's almost like a piece of earth, like a cliff that is over the sea, over the ocean, overlooking it maybe. Once I'm filling that gap more and more with grayish colors that represent snow, I'm seeing where I want to go with my painting. I, for example, know at this point that the snow is quite wet. It's not freshly falling down, it has not been freshly fallen down on Earth, but it has been there for a couple of days and the sun has been melting it, and at night it has been freezing. So it's kind of like wet, almost icy snow, which is represented by the blues that I put on at this stage. And I'm just starting to work out the trees a bit more before they dry completely. I'm going for black and white with a tiny bit of blue here and there, and just really outlining any needles that might be on those branches. Not being particular or specific in or detailed in any kind of a way. No way. This is very rough, very much leaving the details to your imagination. And at this point, I see a wild sea and ocean that you look down upon from a cliff with some very stormy clouds. And this changes later on, I have to tell you that. But at this stage, this is what I saw. So I'm just blending all of those different kinds of white and gray and black together to give it more a smooth look. Because with the wet snow that I'm going for, they are more like a smooth surface. So now that I've done that, I went in for some highlights, the white, at some natural line that I just saw. It's actually the color hitting the wood grain and having a natural shadow. So I'm going for mountains, far away in the distance, and not for the ocean, which I did kind of expect, not really, because I didn't let my mind go there. But I didn't expect, I'd say, a Norwegian scene here. Didn't expect that for sure. So with the grays, I'm going in for a bit of shadow, forming rocks. The white is the clean snow in the distance, and the blue is the fjord that you find all over Norway next to very high mountains. And with a lot of black, like a dark, very dark gray, I'm working out shadows and definition here and there, being very, very sparse with that. I leave the sky to be kind of stormy because I imagine that this is a wild winter's day, maybe January even, not even a Christmassy scene, but like a very, very cold winter day in Norway or somewhere in Scandinavia. So now that I have the first layer down, I'm just drying everything off with my blow dryer, and you see that I have to push down the wood a bit, and that's totally fine. It's still curved a bit in the end, but I don't mind, since I think this this painting would not be hanged on a wall, but rather standing on a, I don't know, a sill of a fireplace, or maybe a windowsill, or some dresser that you have it leaning against a wall or something, so I don't expect it to hang on a wall. So once everything has been really dried, which was fairly quick, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hours later, I go in with my permanent black marker and I'm adding some footprints of whatever human or animal. That's for your imagination to decide, to have a path in the snow. I also added some black lines, but I did not add a lot of them, being very, very rare with those black lines. Once I had my signature and the date down, I did add a bit more on the mountains in the far distance, but that's that. I want the colors and the way that they are moving together in this painting to be the main focus of the painting. So that's my very special painting piece for you today. I hope you got inspired, and maybe you have some surfaces at home that are not meant for watercolors, but you want to try them out with watercolors. Go ahead, go create. Maybe you would even let me see your creations. I would be very appreciative of that. Otherwise, I'm going to see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Have a good one. I see you. Goodbye.